All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee and Craps with John from Pro Craps on Casino Gaming TV. Here we go for, what is today? Wednesday? Hump Day. It's Hump Day. We're our third day of talking about how we practice. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be an absolute crap storm. I can guarantee it. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk about how to practice dice control. So here comes out of the woodwork, all my friends who hate it, right? It's going to be super fun. I'm going to try and trigger them. Greg and JB, I'm talking to you. Come on out tomorrow and give me all the grief you can in chat. It's going to be fun. Actually, I think I got really good thoughts for you tomorrow. It's not going to be all about just how to be a advantage thrower. I have some, I think, really good mechanical thoughts for you on dice throwing, but also just kind of life in general, in terms of teaching skill-based things like hitting a baseball or golfing or whatever else. So tomorrow should be good. I might actually film in the garage and get my golf clubs out. Or a baseball bat. We'll see. I have all sorts of ideas for tomorrow. It's going to be a fun one. So I'm going to tease that now because I think it's going to be a really good show. One of the things I do, you should know me by now in my private life. I'm a teacher, obviously, right? That's what I do here too. But I'm a coach. I've coached sports for most of my life. About half my life, I guess. I started coaching Zach when he was 5. So that goes back to 2003, I guess, right? I coached him in baseball all the way through. I coached hockey. I've coached a little bit of volleyball. It's what I do. And when you teach, especially young kids, new skills, there's a special way that we do it. And I actually work with a sports psychologist to learn some of the techniques that stick with kids. And especially when you're building a brand new skill, it's harder to teach or fix somebody who's got existing skill. But if it's a brand new skill, there's a really cool technique, and I'll share that with you tomorrow. It's going to be a great show. Hope you join me for that. But today we're here to talk about other things, and let's just get right on into it. Let's review the paycheck. So we're 11-1 with the 678 so far. It's good. The one loss was not a soul crushing loss. It was, I think, $350, something like that. I think let me pull the sheet back up here and show it to you. I think the one loss that we had, where's my browser? No, not the Finder, the browser. There we go. The one loss we had, that's the Latterson, so far was this 375-hour day. It's actually on day 2, which kind of blew. But it was horrible, right? I had this horrific grind. And really this whole first week, the first 4 days, remember we had played it like 4 different ways? And I was trying different things out. Like, this didn't work, that didn't work. And we got thumped one day. I think we were doing something super aggressive on the don't or something like that. So the first week, I'm not going to throw it away, obviously, but it was just kind of like we just tried some random stuff that didn't work out. Otherwise, it's been pretty smooth sailing. We had one day where it was pretty tough. We had a day where we had one shooter. Actually, I had 2 days where there was one shooter. One shooter here, one roll there. Those 2 are wrong. It's been decent. It's been decent. It's been a good little run. I wouldn't say it's been perfect, but it's been fun. I like the fact that this one on a good roll lets me get set up. Yesterday was a great example. We came out of the gate. It was a good roll. We started out with like a 15 roller. And actually, if somebody made a note in the chat, if I played the pass line parlay, I'd have made 20 grand yesterday because I think I had 2 separate come out sequences with 2 7s and an 11. Twice I did that on the same shooter, like 7-7, 11-7, and then it was 7-7, 11 point. And I made 3 points throughout the day. I buckshot the 9 and the 6 twice through all that. So because when you buckshot points, right, you don't make a lot of money as a place better because you're kind of just getting the one thing. I was on the pass line. What happened was we picked our first point, and I said, I'm not going to go back out to the don't because we had made our top level money first. We'd made our $100. I'm like, you know what? The don't did its job or didn't. We'll stick it out. And we stuck it out, got our paycheck, regressed all the way down to 96 across. And then we said, well, we're on a good shooter. We have our paycheck locked up, plus $25, and we have $96 out there. Let's just roll that out. And of course, next row is a 7. So we burned again our excess, which seems to happen to me almost all the time now. Probably should have kept half, played half, but it was cool. I like the fact that this strategy can make me a paycheck and leave me playing on a good shooter. It doesn't just have that kind of hit the brakes moment that the Latterson had. So this is a fun one. I'm enjoying it more than I thought I would. Let's say that it's a hybrid, which means there's a lot of back and forth, but I'm having a decent time with it, honestly. So there it is. What's happening in our world here? Let's see. Friday night fights. We have Sith Lord starting his new march, right? He's 1-0, or I guess 1-0 as the new champion. He's playing Glenn. And I'll tell you, I think we might want to have an undercard for this one. I've never thought about this before, but maybe there needs to be kind of a little pre-funk, a little pre-fight maybe. Maybe it's going to be something like Jacob and Dustin won. Wow. Did y'all watch that show this morning? Jeff from Atlantic Crap sent me a text at like 6:45, and he's like, or whatever time, 7:15 or something. He goes, John, Jacob's live, and him and Dustin are going at it. So I come in, I wake up out of bed, I come downstairs, I log in, I have my coffee, my popcorn, and I'm listening. I think Jacob called him a sissy at one point. It's like, holy crap, man. I don't know what got said earlier to trigger all that, but wow, there's a little bit of a feud brewing over there. So, hey, why don't we, let's have that be a thing. Here's Dustin already talking shit a little bit. So that'll be, I'm making fun, obviously, but Jacob's right to a degree, right? And I've said this to y'all before. We've had this talk. It seems like once every 6 months we have this kind of talk about the community and what it means to kind of partake in what we do here. And, free debate, right? It's free country. Say what you want to say. Just we kind of draw the line at when it gets personal and when it gets directly ugly personal. I've banned 2 people since we've had these channels in ProCrafts and here. I've banned 2 people, and only because not because of what they said to me, but because they went after each other. Actually, 2 different people went after other people in the chats, and that's where you got to draw the line. So just be careful out there. Do your thing, say your thing. Just don't be a douchebag, please. That's kind of my ask. All right, and I'm teasing this. It'll be next week. I'll do the Monster Mash next week. I'll do the DPC recalculations over the weekend, both over the weekend. I'm working Saturday, but I have no class to teach, and the crazy town that I've been in my work. I worked yesterday. Honest to God, we left our show at 9:45. I went to work at 10 o'clock. I worked until 1 in the morning, straight through yesterday. Didn't watch 1 minute of YouTube. Just my work's been like that, but it'll be done on Friday. So I can get these things I've been promising you, the Monster Mash from AZ's Big 57 Roller. I've been promising you DPC recalculations. I owe you that to separate the excess losses from the strategy losses. And I owe you some new features in the code that I plan to write for the CQ website. So give me some time. I'll spend the weekend on you, basically. That's what's going to happen. So there's that. What's coming up? Looks like Wacky Wednesday with MacTay at 11:30 my time. Looks like Texas Scrap Shooters going live at 3:30. Tonight we got LFC here with Arnell and the gang from Craps Nation. They do, and that's actually, it's a fun watch. It's a funner play. So if you go to our Discord, there's a link. Arnell puts a link in Discord. If you want to play tonight, you say yes, and he can send you a link. Jump on in. You basically get to play, throw the dice, and bet with Ed and Sarge and all the good throwers, right? All the guys from Craps Nation that have channels and stuff. They're all throwing. Jump on in and do it. It's really cool to just be part of the gang. They're all super approachable and very fun to play with. And when they throw bad, they swear just like everybody else. It's actually a lot of fun. Jump into that. And then, of course, Big AC tonight's going his Wednesday Night Live. I think he's got 2 things going. He's releasing one of the challenges is being released. I forget which one. The Joker's Wild Challenge. And then he's going to go live Wednesday Night Live at 7 o'clock. Looks like Alfredo's moving to Friday with Alex Kim. And, of course, Sunday we have Ed with $5 Bill. Every day at 6 a.m., Joe goes live Craftsmaster Journey. Didn't have room on the screen because I'm doing the Today Forward. I got to put Joe on here as a reminder for tomorrow. So Joe's going live in the morning with his I think our purple belt challenge right now. So there's that. Boy, what else is on tap? Well, I think there's something else on tap. I think we're doing this. Oh yeah, fantasy football. If you want to play fantasy football, and I warn you right now, my wife's going to win it again. My wife, Chris, I had to take Chris and twist his arm to let Kathy play because Kathy, my wife, won fantasy football last year, and then she turned around and dropped the mic and won. She won on what do you call it? On the NCAA, the tournament thing. She won both, right? So yeah, Kathy, my wife is a sports fanatic, loves football, loves basketball, and for fantasy football took that shit really seriously. She's like, I'm gonna make sure she made trades every week. She studied up and she was on it, man. So if you're playing, God be with you is all I got to say, because Kathy does not want that to be seen as a fluke. She's like, I'm repeating, and that's what's going to happen. So I got Kathy, I got Zach. The future probably Mrs. Zach's going to play. I'm playing, of course. You guys can dump all over me. Last year, I think I finished in last or next to last. I was helping my daughter with homework or something last year during the draft, and I missed 3 picks. And I had like, I think I was, oh, it's my turn. I hit a button and it picks random people for me. So I sucked last year. This year, I'm going to actually try and pay attention, but love me some fantasy football. So that'll be fun for us as a group, I think, to get on there. So, all right, what is next for us? We've been talking a lot about practice this week, and I think I hope that you got something out of it, right? I hope it's been good. I think the first thing we talked about, and I want to repeat some of this so we don't lose it in the fight here, okay? Windcrafts is a thing that we all know and love, right? I use Windcrafts quite a bit. I show it to you a lot. A lot of you use Windcrafts to great success, and it's really, really strong at showing your strategy over long periods of time. You can do short runs too, of course, but it's really cool to like put your strategy in there and say, let me see you go for 10,000 rolls. Let's see you go with an unlimited run and an unlimited bankroll. So you can see kind of like how far it dips down and know what your buy-in should be and that kind of thing. It's good for that. The problem with Windcrafts is twofold. One is the RNG is an RNG. So it's going to find pockets. It's going to be less random than random. And random can't even be defined, but it's still less random than random. And it definitely gets insane spikes. I was telling JB yesterday, he's like, what's your beef with RNGs, you know? And I'm like, I've seen Windcrafts throw 350 roll hands, right? So I'm like, why did I lose so much? Or why did I win so much? The hands go 350 in Windcrafts sometimes. That never happens, right? The world record's, 155 or something like that. I've seen it throw 30 plus come out sevens back to back. Like, sure, we all have the story of seeing somebody roll 10 of them or whatever like that, but 31, it never happens. I'm going to, in air quotes, say that because I know everything can happen at some point, but that's what happens to it. It gets into that. So I don't trust all of the RNG stuff. So, but it's great for putting in your own rolls. If I've got a sequence of rolls that I've done at the table, for example, I'm going to take AZ's 50 something rolls, put it in Windcrafts, and run my strategies against it. I'm going to run all the strategies against those same rolls. It's great to test that kind of stuff out for theory crafting. But you got to learn how to code, which can be a challenge for some folks, and you got to enter rolls in if you want that reality. So there's problems with it. I recommended that you roll the dice. Either roll the dice and set up 4 or 5 shooters, or set up scenarios. Set up 5 come out winners, 5 come out losers, 0.7 out, 0.2 hits and out, a point with a field number and a box number and out, 5 roller, 6 roller, 10 roller, 15 roller. Set them all up and then work your bets. See how your actual strategies work against actual dice that are pre-rolled, and run the same strategies live. Gives you a good sense of where the rhythm of the roll might be. It helps you practice your betting, your presses, and it helps you find where your holes are, and maybe give you opportunity to kind of maybe patch a hole. You can't patch all the holes, right? You're going against a contrived set for sure, but it gives you a sense of that. So that was one day. On Tuesday, we talked about practicing betting. That was yesterday. And jumping to the bottom of this recommendation list here, I want you to practice knowing what your next bet's going to be. If you've gotten a cross bet and you're at $10 on the 9, and the 9 rolls, you know it's going to pay $14. Your choice can be drop $1 to take 15, drop $1 to go to 25, collect 6, and make it look like 20, right? Know your words, what you're going to say to your dealers on your next bet. I recommend using my rack to set up my next bet. So if I'm going to have a drop of $4 to take a $25 or $20 9 to 50, or a $2 drop rather, my $2 is sitting there. So I'm ready to drop the money when the thing rolls. To speed the game up, but also give you that level of confidence that you need to shred the game. You want to be really strong when you're playing. Know your regressions, work your rack. Your rack is a great information giver through all this, okay? Again, make it easier for your dealers, but practice. You got to do that every day. Every day, set up your chips, roll your dice, say your words, put your stuff out there. You got to get like a machine to be out there. It's a good look, right? You're not getting paid for your looks on the craps table, but it is a good look. It does build confidence, and it does keep you in control. And I think that's an important thing. Today, I want to talk about practicing profit. And what I mean by practicing profit is this. You know that I'm a rack maniac, and people who play with me will say, God, He does. He brings the lammers and he separates all his crap, and I'm kind of a fanatic in the rack. I highly recommend you do this. And I'll show you again today a short example of how to separate your rack. You can separate your rack in a number of ways. If you're going to play the same strategy for every shooter, regardless of when the 7 comes, then you're going to separate your rack into chunks that match per shooter. And you can easily see where you are. It's easy to count where your status is. If you're going to play a rolling strategy, like a Wayland thing, like you're going to, let's say it's the Mind, and it's always a $22 press or whatever it's going to be. You set your rack up, in that case, in hundreds, right? So then we can count how many hundreds you have left, and your profit center becomes not so much how many shooters you're playing with, but how many dollars you have. Again, it makes it easy to count. I also use lammers because where I keep my lammers, they help me track what's on the felt. So I use a lammer in my rack in place of a bet sequence or $100. So I can say on my profit side, if I have $50 in the rack and a lammer, that's telling me I've got 50 plus 100 on the felt. I can look at my rack and know, okay, when that gets to 500, I know what's on the felt. That might trigger a level-based regression for me. So I use the rack to sort of give me some of that stuff. How am I going to play? Depends, right? If I'm racking half and playing half, then where the money goes in my rack changes as we go too. Okay. And of course, we're going to ask this question: what does shoot the moon mean to you? When you're playing for profit and with profit, we all say, oh, when that happens, I'm shooting the frickin' moon. What does that mean? I know players who are in the chat right now that would tell you, if I'm doing great and the shooter's hot and we're pressing up and I get to 320 across, I'm shitting Twinkies, and that's shooting the moon for me, and I'm pulling that down. It scares the crap out of me having that kind of money out there, right? I know players out there who say, I'm not considering shooting the moon until I got 3,200 across, $500 on every bet. That's shooting the moon to them. And at that point, they go, that's enough money. Let's pull 2,500 off that table and go back out there to 1,100, right? You got to decide what shooting the moon means for you and what your next level of regress is going to be. So there's that. All that happens, though, because your rack is managed and you know what you got. Capiche? Here we go. Let's go to the table. And I'm going to do something that I just said I shouldn't do, but we're going to do it anyway. I'm going to roll the dice. We'll let the dice decide today what our profit might look like. Okay, we're going to try to do some profit play with dice helping us out. Instead of setting it up ahead of time, right, we're going to do profit play. But I will demonstrate my thoughts for you ahead of that. So let's go to the big table here. I'm actually going to roll, I think, with the KPI today. I think I can do this because let me get my my browser up where I can see it. I believe the Stream Deck now has enough cord length that I can fit it to the table and I can actually roll with you live. So here we go. Give me a second to get everything set up. I'll walk back over there and let's do it. Let's see. Does this cord reach? Oh my God, the cord reaches. I think you can even see it on their table there, but here we go. What I have in my rack this morning is this. I'm going to put this again in the middle so it's easier to see. Actually, look at that. We can fit it all down there now. Okay, here we go. Will the dice fit here? Yes, they do. Look at that perfect view. Awesome. I'm going to play, and we have a choice. I'm actually going to ask you in chat, what do you want to do? I've got 5 shooters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shooters with 3 units in there each. 3 $25 chips, $75. We have lots of choices here of a strategy we can play with $75. Okay, I can go 64 across. I can go 66 in. I could, technically speaking, add $1 to each one of these things and go 76 inside. Lots of choices here for us to do this. Okay, why don't we do this? Why don't we take our $75 and again, we're going to track our rack. Right now, I know. Let me actually set it up. I'll show you what I'm going to do here. We're going to go 66 inside. We'll do something super simple, very, very easy. There's $66. Okay, that gives me $9 and change. Okay, we'll take this to the bank. We can grab the hard ways. I'll actually take this nickel as pennies and put that over here on this side of my rack. Now, what I've done is I've basically visually slid $75 from my bankroll side to my playing side. This is my play stack. Whatever comes to the table comes from what I slid over here. Whatever I pull off the table in profits will come back over here. And again, there's a couple of ways to try profit play. So I'm going to roll the dice, and we're going to talk about kind of what some options are here, and I'll give you a couple of ways to manage it. My first goal normally is to drop $75 back over here. I want $75 back in this thing over here as fast as possible. I want to be playing for free most of the time. However, there are days where it also makes plenty of sense to just half press or half play the entire way. Let's catch a point here. I'm going to move my my rack over there, and we're going to get a 5, a 3-2-5. Am I in there? 3-2-5. Look at that. Look at the roll tracker working. Wait, why did it come up pink? Did I type that in? Did I already screw up? First roll of the day, did I screw it up? I did. I put in a 3. God, what a dum-dum. Let me try that again. Let's delete that roll. Let's go in here, and it's a 3-2-5. Golly, 3-2. How about that? There we go. It's a 5. That's going to be our point. Now let's hope we don't just PSO every single time, because I want the dice to tell a good story, not a John is an idiot story. We got an 8. Okay, there's an 8. Let's skill 66 it. Okay, we know it's going to pay $21. We're going to lose our hard 8. So I'm going to drop a buck to do the 22 inside press. I'm going to replace my hard 8. I will burn that $5 on the hard ways. I'm kind of predisposed to drop the $5. We're going to go to 88 inside. To 5-3. Boy, I'm out of rhythm with the roll tracker thing, right? There's another 8. Look at hard 8 this time. That's fantastic. 4-4, hard 8. Let's play this out. That's going to pay $9, right? 9-1. There's my $9. I could drop $1 and make it look like 10, which I'm going to do. Bring that back to the rack. Now I'm going to bring that back. Here, 24, pays 25, $28. And we're going to come down to something. I'm not sure what yet. We're going to come down at least, I'm going to come at least to 66 inside. Like so. What I would probably do in this situation, let's grab the 4 and 10. Let's go out here. Let's get the 4 and 10. We'll go 64 across. All right, so we've got a little bit of payment. And here we go. We're going to bring back to the rack. Again, there's a couple of ways to do it. There's 20. There's 5 whites. I'm going to ask for a quarter here. And now what I brought back is this. 50, $60, and I got a couple of whites sitting over here. Okay? 2 ways to manage our rack right now. 2 ways to do it. One way is this, and I want you to take a look here. 1, 2, 3, 4 shooters, and that black lammer means I'm short 1. That's out here. I can slide that over right now, and I've got $60 back on the good side, and we're almost, again, rack telling me where I am in profit, and here we go. There's an 8. Wow, is that 3 8s in a row? Is that a trend? 5, 3, 8. Okay, that's going to pay 15 for 1 or $14. We can do $14. Press it, full press right here, right? Or I can do half press. Let's make it simple. We'll half press it. We'll go to $18, like so. We'll take this back to rack. The reds go here, the whites go here for now. Again, I'm looking to get my $75 back. And the minute I get my $75 back, I'm going to make a move in the rack. I want you to see this move. Again, it's an informational move. There's the 3, 1, 4. Sweet. Okay, 10 pays $18. We'll do 20 for 2. Make it look like 1 unit press. So we'll take $15 back to the rack. Now, watch this. There's 25, 15, right? There is $25. Now, I spread it out so you could see it. That is our rack being put back together. We know we're solid here. No lammer in front means the rack is good, okay? This becomes profit. It goes back in over here. My play stack is still what it is. Now watch what I do from this point forward. We lose the hard 4, by the way, and the hard 4 goes back. Now from this point forward, I have one other thing I got to do, which is this. I'm going to put a lammer down here next to my winnings, because the lammer represents to me a full unit across. In my case here, it's $64. I started with $64. I'm going to use the lammers visually right now to represent what's on the felt. So I know that I've got my initial bankroll is back. There's no lammer here. That's how I know. Back here, I got $5 plus a full unit. So I know that I've got about 70 bucks or so in action. At some point, I'm going to make the lammers in my mind worth 100 bucks. When it gets to that point, that's a way to know. But here I can look right down and go, I know right where I am. There's no question what's on the felt and what's in my rack. And if I say at some point, this plus this is my goal, then I make a decision. Here we go. Let's keep the dice rolling. Let's avoid disaster. We got a 639. That will pay 15 for $1. Single unit press, bring 10 back, right? And again, we're gonna rack, put $5 in the play stack, $5 in the profit stack. I'm just gonna keep on splitting the winnings like that. Some's gonna be locked, some's gonna be used for the next round of play. Maybe, we'll see. Another 8, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, who's pressing the 8 to the freaking moon right now, right? There's $21 on the 8. I am out of reds over here. This is great, right? 21 bucks. That's gonna take my hard 8. I'll put the hard 8 back, hard 8 returns, and I'll drop $1 to make the 8 do a half press now. We're gonna go halfway up. And again, I'm gonna rack 1, stack 1, make my 8 look like 30 bucks. A little bit of a half press there to get to green. And there we go. Rack in half, play in half. Hard 10. How good is this roll? Right? Again, I'm going to do 20. I can't do 20 for 2. I'll do 18 bucks. I was going to do 20 for 2, but I can't. I'm out of whites. There's 18 bucks. Okay. Like the 4, I'll go up by 1 unit. We're going to get on the hard 10 down here, $7. These whites that are coming back here, I can make those look like a nickel. Okay. We can ask for check change. And I'm bringing $21 back to my rack, which means $1 here, $10 there, and $10 here. Look what I've got. Now I've stacked up a quarter in profit. I've got 22 bucks to play the next shooter with, right? This is, again, play stack money. That is locked profit money. And I've got out here 1, 2, 3 bets are 1 unit up, and 1 bet is a couple units up. It's 30, 60, 75, 85. That's 100 bucks. Right? Now this means it's 100. And so in my mind, I'm going to start looking at that as 100 bucks. It's $125 in profit right now. I started out with 300. That's not a bad percentage, right? This is the time to walk away and run in this mode, but I want you to see how we do it. How we do it. All right? We're going to work the rack. Again, information from the rack on profit, and we decide at what point do you want to shoot the moon. Now, if you're a heavy presser, and you're pressing what's coming, right? The pocket of 8s, the variant that we're in has 1 billion 8s in it. This is great, right? 35 bucks on that 8, that's awesome, right? Maybe you're dropping $2 here and making it look like another 12 bucks. And again, I'll take 25 bucks. What I'll do with that in a minute, I'll show you. We're gonna make this look like 42. That's great. We'll lose the hard 8. Hard 8 returns. So it's $1.04 change. Now with this quarter, how do you split a quarter? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 15 bucks or 10 bucks out of the profit stack and put it over here and just make the quarter over here. Now I've locked 40 and I've got enough money to play around again the next time through. I could also look at this and go, now I'm really up, right? At some point, I told you earlier about your leveled regressions. What kind of a player are you? Are you looking for a paycheck? Are you looking to make some squirreled money here? If we 7 out right now, your total is going to be 40 plus whatever this is, about 50 bucks, not quite to goal. You know what you got out here is about 120 bucks, roughly. Your black chip, your black lammer tells you that 42 here, right? Plus 45, that's 90, basically 90 bucks. This makes it 90 bucks, and you got another 15 in there. You got to make that call, right? What does shoot the moon mean to you? What does profit goal mean to you? What does keep playing mean to you? That's a decision only you can make, but your rack is telling you what you have. I know I've got 40 plus 100 plus whatever's in the play stack for next time. I know I've got that out there, okay? We can pull down to 64 across and lock a full paycheck. And I'll show you how to do that right now. I'm going to do it. It's probably the smart thing to do, but I want to teach how I do this. If I say, bring me down to 64, please. Right, it looks like this, 64 across. Now you're back down, and what you brought back here is this, right? An extra 45 bucks to come back to the rack. Let me show you what this means to me. okay? I'm gonna take this all back. I will drop 5 and ask for check change to get some reds. I'll even do it here. Drop that for check change too, and have our 75 bucks. Now here's our starting bankroll. I'm gonna put a new lammer there and put 75 bucks in front of it. Okay, that means I have 20% profit. If I have 5 shooters worth and I make a full extra shooter, that's 20%. There's my 20% win goal completely locked up. Matter of fact, I might even do that with it. Remind myself, do not freaking touch this, okay? Now at 64, I have $10 in additional locked profit and I've got 20 and change to play with next time through. That's a perfectly solid regression to make. It seems like it's really early to make that regression, but it locks in a goal on a really good roll. Locked in my goal, shift under go blind, I'm bringing the 75 bucks back. Now here's the question I asked you earlier. What does shoot the moon mean to you? Okay, bring back 64 bucks to this, 64, 74, 84, 94. There's 6, that's another 100 bucks. There's $103 extra between that, and what's out here. Another 100, that would be 175 profit off of 300 bucks buy-in. Not too shabby, right? You make the call. Tuck tail and run, keep playing it out. We're gonna keep playing it out and work this roll until it doesn't want to be worked anymore. There's a 6, that's gonna be 14 bucks. And I'll keep on doing the 1 unit press to a half unit press. There's 14 for that, right? We'll make that look like 15 for 1. There's $1, there's a nickel. That's for the place bet 6. The hard 6 pays 10 for 1. Dig it. 25 bucks on that little roll right there. I'm gonna drop another $1, so I would drop 3 bucks, right? Let's go to 18 with the 6. Now we half press the next time to a quarter, and I got 20 bucks coming back, save 20, play later with 20. We'll try another one with 20. That's gonna end up being our excess in a few minutes. There's a 9, 5, and a 4. Fantastic. Same deal. Drop 1. It's 15 for 1. Single unit press the first time. 1 and 1. We're going to build up our coffers. Slowly but slowly is a 5. Now this is a monster roll, right? Other people would say, God, you should be making a fortune on this roll. I'm going to pay this as 14 bucks because we're out of whites. But I'm trying to show you how to be conservative and work your racks so you know what's up. Single unit press, we'll bring back the whites to here. I'll put the red back here. It's basically a split. You see how I'm doing this, right? We're just kind of irking along. Puck is off. Let's have a 7 right here, huh? Hard 8. Okay, that's our new point. Taking it slow, conservative, being smart, knowing where my rack is telling me I've got. You could easily say, John, you should have been on that 8. That 8 should be at 350 right now. If you're full pressing it, you're Mr. Aggressive. That 8 is at 300 bucks. If you're a heavy duty presser, right? The 9 got hit a few times, right? Sure, I would agree with you, right? We're missing out on big opportunity here, but I'm trying to show you not so much the pressing technique I want you to play. I'm trying to show you how I manage this in here, because I think even if these are 300 bucks, you're still going to manage your rack in the same way. And again, my lammer is telling me what's out here. That's a unit, 1 full unit in betting out there. Matter of fact, that's almost 66 inside. When I get to 96 across, that black chip is going to equal or look like to me, or that black lammer will be a black chip. There's a 4. So it'll pay 18 bucks. We'll do 20 for 2. 20 for 2. That was an easy 4, so we'll lose the hard 4. Cost me another $1. We'll just keep the dollars going out here for now. Again, I'm not trying to break the bank. I'm trying to just keep these things moving. At some point, we may parlay them up or press them up, but for right now, let's just play them as extras. There's our 7. There's our 7. It had to come at some point. So how do we do, and what are we going to do next? That's going to be our next call. And here's what I do with the profits here. I'm going to check out where we are. Let's take that off the table. There's our lock. We stashed an extra 30 bucks, which is kind of cool because that actually makes that $100. If I take those, that's a black chip right there. What I've got in the other side that I split the money on, there's 25, 50, 5, 60 bucks. If I take all of what's left, I got $61, okay? Proper way, play half, rack half. I've already got a lock. I'm already set with $100, which is more than my goal. I'm going to try and find an even number of things to play here. So we're going to take, and we'll do 44. I'll take a nickel. We'll make it look like whites. 44 inside, and the rest of this, I'll put the whites here. And I'm going to rack half. And now I'm going to work over here. I'm going to work into my go home pile. This is never leaving now. Whatever I rack from this excess play here is never going to go back on the table. I'm not going to ever do what I just did again. Half here, half there, and that's how we're going to play it out. 7, come out. I stopped the roll tracker because I'm an idiot. Sorry about that. I'm so used to just rolling and like not thinking about it. I'll get better at this, I promise. There's a 9. There's a 9. Okay, that was actually like what, a 15 roller probably. All right, points 9, 44 inside. Let's make magic. Got a 4. Got a 4. Randy's on the 4s. There's a 5. Sweetness. All right, that'll be, we'll do 15 for 1. Press it up. Take half, rack half. 8. I'll do the exact same thing. Actually, I'll do it a single unit press. We'll do $14. Single unit press. And again, I'll take half. I'll put the half we're going to play with over here. I'll put the racked half in there. Looks like $18. Another 8. Man alive, the 8s today are popping. That's going to be $21. $21. Drop a buck to make it easy. Looks like 30. There's 10 coming back. That's going to be $30. Rack half, save half. Rack half, play half, right? 8 again. My God, that's got to be 11 8s today. $35. 25, 35. Here's a half press. I'll drop 2. I'll take a quarter back to the rack. That goes to $42, which is great. I'm just going to exchange. So what I'll do is I'll take 2 greens from there, or 2 reds from there, and I'll put a green over here. And again, this lammer here, what's on the table, I'll make this lammer matter when this is $100. 3 ace deuce. 6 4 2. So just like the 8, it's going to pay $14. We're going to press it by 1. We're going to take half to play with, rack half for later. 9. What a spectacular set of rolls today, right? A 9, 15 for 1. Single press first. Keep half, play half. Nice and conservative. There's my 7. Never got that next 8. That would have been $50. That would have been a sweet hit right there. Okay, so how do we do in that round? We banked up some more money. We banked up, here's another green, Our greens now are, there's $150 in profit. Let's make that a black chip for good measure. 150 locked, 160 locked, and I've got still over here, 25, 23 bucks. I could go $12, 6, and 8 and work my way backwards. I could do a little field parlay, whatever I want to, or I could just say, you know what? Good to go, baby. I'm out of here, right? Dealer money, and off I go, right? That's a fine way to do this thing. That's actually a little bit of a light tip, but it's what you have left kind of thing. I might actually just take the reds out here and do that, because that actually is 20, 30. That's about 10% of my buy-in. 10% buy-in plus a little bit extra. That's a decent walk-away tip, and walk with 100.5, right? That's a interesting little way to manage your rack with profit. Now, I took $150 off of a table that had 9 8s rolled on it, okay? That's a little bit sad. And again, if you want to be aggressive with your pressing, you can jump on my crap all day long. I really don't care. The point of this is not so much how much I made by doing single unit presses. The point of this is how I managed my rack with the money that came back. Whether I was going from 12 to 30 to 42 to 60 to 90, versus 12 to 18 to 24 to 30. It doesn't really matter what that was. Either way, taking some, playing some, taking some, playing some. Front of the rack, keep my initial bankroll as clean as I can, as often as right away. Put some money in the back for lock, put some money in the back to keep your play stat going, give you a chance to keep rolling with it. That's the plan. And when I say practice with your profits, that's what I want you to do. Practice that same roll is good, right? That was a great little monster roll that we had there. How would you have played that? And what I mean by that is not so much how would you have pressed it, but if you did a half press the entire time, or if you did a full press and regressed, how would you have managed your rack? Where would you have put the money? That's what I want you to practice. Not so much the pressing, right? But practice when the money comes back, how are you taking care of yourself? How are you knowing you got your starting bankroll back? How are you tracking in your rack where your profits go? How are you tracking in your rack if you can play some more? Right? This gave me permission to play more. I could have just profited the whole thing. And I see people with when their racks and they look like this instead. Here's what I see a lot. I'm going to spread this crap out. And I know you've seen this. You've seen this, right? This person right here does not know how much profit they have, right? On a great roll, I've seen. I'll put a couple blacks there too, right? I've seen that in the rack. You've seen that in the rack, right? How much money does that person make? Do you know? What percentage are they at? Where's their lock? How much are they bringing home? How much can they play with on the next shooter and still feel like they're safe? That person has no idea, right? It's a good looking rack. That's great chip porn for Facebook, frankly. But I don't know what's in here. I can guesstimate. I can go, it's a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 700, about 850 or so, whatever. You have no idea. By using some kind of a separation system, by some kind of a quadrant system to know where your stuff is, you get to know, okay, that starting bankroll, that is locked. This is I'm working to play with that, and this is some excess profit that I'm working on. Now I know where I am, right? I know I'm bringing home $150. I know I got, this much locked on this shooter, and this much is what I'm going to go out with on the next time. That's a cool way to do this. But just having all your shit stacked up in here and you have no way of knowing what's up, that's a really hard way to go to the casino. That's where a lot of beginning players get their butts kicked because it looks like they have a lot of money and they really don't. Or because they don't know, they just keep on dropping $66, $66, 160 across, and before you know it, you're burned, right? Because it feels like you're in a good spot. Knowing where you're at is the battle, man. Knowing where you're at is the only tool you really got to have a chance at walking away with something when you're in profit. You have to know where you are, right? And there it is, guys. There it is. Michael Blocker back from Vegas. Split the sisters. I love it. That's a great strategy. That's a really great strategy. Let me go back to the other screen here. Let's go here. Turn the lights off. Yeah, the splitting sisters is cool when it works. All these things are cool when it works, right? All these things are cool when it works. It's like the 66 is great. The Lagerman's great. The quarter pound with ease is great. These things are all great when you get those first two hits. You get those first couple of hits and you can split the sisters, then you get paid on it. You look like a champion. I'll tell you this, as a dealer, the split the sisters is a pain in the ass, right? It's one of those things where it's like my tier pressure. That regression from tier pressure sucks. Dealers hate it because it's so, you get so wacky with the bets on different numbers and then it all comes down to even. It seems like it's cool for us. To them, it sucks. Yesterday, I was talking about knowing your bets, right? We got into this whole discussion about knowing what your bets are going to be. When I'm doing a split the sisters thing, or if I'm doing the tier pressure where I have the 8 gets pressed up to 90 and then 4 is at 150, and then I go, make it look like 96 across. And they go, shit. I just hand $96, say, here's 96, bring it down, make me look like 96 across. And it's just so much easier that way. It just goes so much faster. So when you're splitting sisters and you know what that split's going to look like, what your next bets are going to be, same bet, take me down, make them both look like 25, just drop them $50. It's so much easier to do that. It makes that thing roll. But that's a cool strategy. I love it. I love it. Let's do questions. Any questions in here for me? Let me go forward twice. No PCs, really? Or no questions? Let's see. We have PCs. Is there any PCs? There are a few. I should do better at saying good morning to you guys, really. I'm not very good. And Jeff's good at that. I'm not good. Crapsy is struggling and got worse. Yeah, I'm not using it right now, only because the Paycheck show, I don't use it anymore because that show needs to have a groove to it. I will get back to doing a an actual crapsy show at some point, but I've been so busy with work. I haven't had a chance to focus at all on anything crap. Literally, the crap stuff has been completely over here because of the state of Texas, Alfredo, causing me to drink some Tennessee bourbon every night, man. I'll tell you what, I'll let you know, we're rolling out our entire curriculum, which is designed for adult learners, into Texas high schools. And you can imagine how hard that is, right? We're taking what was a 3-hour lecture, literally it's 3-hour chunks, but it's an hour minimum of lecture, an hour minimum of live coding demonstrations, and then an 8-hour lab period into 20-minute chunks that fit into the size of a high school classroom. It's really, really hard. So I've been like this. So I've not been paying attention to most of you, and I'm super sorry about that. Yeah, that's a great point, Mike. You can use the same set of 50 rolls and take the first roll and put it to the end, and boy, that changes the entire rhythm of a roll, doesn't it? That's because the come out sevens become losers. It's a whole thing. I really do like setting up the rolls ahead of time and playing against a known set of rolls. And I know somebody says that's cooking the books, but when you see the pattern, like, okay, when you get 2 box numbers before the 7, or 3 before the 7, or 4 before the 7, and none of them repeat. Or you get, like we had here today, 4 box numbers, but they're all 8s, right? Those things happen all the time. And you want to see, did my strategy that I was trying to build here take advantage of that or get beat by that? Today, we didn't take advantage of it. You can say that was a dumb way to play, right? Spreading your bets all over the place, or kind of sissy pressing in the inside doesn't really work that well when the roll's going good. Now, can you change in the middle? I guess, but it's good to know when I'm playing this way on a roll like that, I can expect a couple $100. If I'm playing this other way on a roll like that, I can expect $1,000. If I'm playing this way and the 7 comes, I don't get beat. I'm going to rack $40. If I'm playing this other way and the 7 comes early, I'm going to lose the whole thing. That's why I say spread them out in a patternistic way. Get yourself an idea of what your wins and losses are expected to be in certain role types. You can plan your day a little better that way. Let's see. Yeah, Jen uses the lammers to know when press and collect time. It's great because they have 2 different faces. They have PC on one side and ProCraps the other side. I have white and black ones too that I use sometimes. So I can do the red, white thing with the lammers, and they're nice and small. So that's cool. Let's see here. What else? Julio, yeah, hold numbers. Julio is, woo, baby. How hot are the Mariners right now? My God. I didn't mark any of the points because I'm a dumbass. I got so excited about the rolls, I just forgot. Jen, no, we are not. We're not having a paycheck today. I'm sorry. There's no paycheck today. I'm doing I'm getting interviewed for a code school. Like I'm on a big panel type of thing. So it's like an hour and a half, and it starts in a half hour from now. So after the show's over, I'm gonna get coffee and kind of get prepped up for that. If I do a paycheck show, it'll be over lunch, or it'll be tonight after, like, late at night. So either lunchtime or late night, but it won't be now. Sorry about that. Who's more fanatic with craps? Mrs. Well, you know what? We're both. I mean, I'm telling you what, people don't believe me, but I get text messages that all the time because I work nights now, right? So I work from 12 to 9. I get these texts saying the game's starting, you coming up? And like we record every Mariners game. We record every Hawks. We watch the replays. We want to re-see. She's like all in, and that's a big part of our life. It's one of our bonding things that we do. She hates craps, by the way. She thinks that you guys are all crazies. She thinks I'm a moron. She thinks craps is dumb, and yeah. So I think we're equally fanatic on the sports thing. She thinks I'm a nutcase when it comes to all this stuff here. Oh my God, Darksider, you're just trying to trigger me. It's not a trend. I was joking. I say that. I say, is it a trend? Because there's nothing I'm doing to make the dice become those 8s. That's why I say the trend. The trend isn't a thing. It was a great cluster. No doubt about that, right? Great, awesome variant, but I was doing nothing to cause the trend, right? Like if I was setting dice and they were coming 8s and I was throwing, but it's random outcome. Random can't trend. All right, there we go. I love you all. I love you all so much. And I will. Sorry for the no paycheck today, but I'll see you later on. Final thoughts. My final thoughts are manage your money. I think we all say it. Jeff says be safe, right? Alfredo says chips and rack don't come back. I say rack the black. Ken says RUP. Make sure you're being disciplined. We're all saying the same things, right? It's not a requirement that you turn $300 or whatever I had there. It was $450. It's not a requirement that you turn $300 into $1,000. There's no rule that says that, right? People will say you shoulda, coulda, woulda. I'd have made X on that roll. Bullshit. Play your way, right? If winning from $300, like I just did, 150 is good enough, then it's good enough, right? You're not going to go and full press when all you've got is $300. You got to bet within your means, bet smart, and always collect when you can. And if you're collecting, I recommend tracking and separating so you know where you are. Information, knowledge is power. In that rack, knowledge is all you got. That's what you have. You know from your rack and what your eyes are telling you how much money you have. And at some point, it's going to be enough. And if it's not enough and you're okay with losing what's out there, green light, go do your thing. But I say don't do that unless you have information. Find a way to track it in your rack, what your profits are. And that will give you the confidence, I think, to press more aggressively when you want to. Also the confidence to say, I'm out of here with my money. Bring me down. That's a confident, bold move too. So with that said, guys, I am out. I'll see you tomorrow for sure for Coffee and Craps. I'll see you later today at some point randomly for Daily Paycheck. Bye, y'all.